Shalawam, Israel. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI, Quadash, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalawam to Lek up there doing his work of faith and labor of love, true sincerity. All right, and obviously today we know is the Day of Atonement, and just watching some videos earlier, seeing brothers stream video on the benefits of fasting. So I thought I'd pretty much land back, into that spirit. I bring out, the various scriptures, and then get into more specific details of the actual benefits concerning fasting. And it's, and definitely for brothers that go through, various illnesses, infirmities, and things like that, it would definitely be behoove brothers, or be very beneficial for brothers to to fast very often, even if it's not necessarily a complete spiritual fast, even if it's just just fasting in general for your health, but you still put them those prayers, it still all counts to the good for you as an individual. And this is something that we need to constantly put into practice. So I'm gonna start off with the scriptures, and it's the first scripture I want to grab is Matthew's. We'll start off on Matthew's 4:1. It reads, then was Yahawashi led up to the of the man that these stones made bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. And what was one of the main reasons why Yahawashi was fasting for? You got to look at that and really think about the benefits that he was reaping from him fasting. For number one is what? To absolutely kill the flesh. Because you got to think about it, what Yahawashi came back, was on the earth, various, at least like 4 or 5 times of what we know of, in the reincarnation phase, So this time around, and him walking the earth, or to show you as that perfect man, what he had to do was necessary, what? To kill the flesh. Because when you kill the flesh, that obviously brings you what? Closer to the Most High. All right. Let me grab one other scripture real quick that just came to mind. 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, right? Because we know once we first enter into this truth, it's a transformation period. So what Yahawashi was doing, in essence at that time, he was performing basically a transformation of himself, of him killing more of the flesh to get more spiritual. So, and this is the first step, for us when we come into the truth, is us in Corinthians 5 and 17, right? Matter of fact, let me back a little bit and start off at let's start off at verse 16. And it says, wherefore hence know we no man after the flesh, yet though we have known Yahawashi after the flesh, yet now henceforth know we him no more. Therefore, if any man be in Yahawashi, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. And all things are of the Most High, who have reconciled us to himself, our Yahawashi, and have given to us the ministry of reconciliation. So we know that this is the first step, of us coming into this truth, is acknowledging the Most High and us becoming a new creature. That's the very first step. And we begin to slowly shed away that old man, because what? It's all about that transformation. It's all about that transformation. Shalom, shalom. Okay. One second. Hey, can you hear me now? Or no? Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me or no? Let's see. Yeah. So, yeah, like I was saying, coming into this truth, it's a whole thing about transforming yourself. You know, no problem, no problem. It's a whole thing about just being a transformation period. So Yahawashi recognizing that the times in which he came in the flesh before, and how he was still a man and he still went off during those times of the flesh before coming into the flesh as him being Yahawashi. He knew what was the only way that he can ultimately kill the fleshly part so that he can walk perfectly, and that was to fast. That is one of the biggest things about fasting, because the more we fast, the closer we grow to YAHAWASHI. Like, you got to think about it, right? Like, in general, when we fast and things like that, it's like a more of a direct connection. Like when you constantly eating and things like that, our prayers are still heard of the Most High. But when you actually fasting and then you putting up a prayer, it's like you making a phone call. It's like you making a phone call, but now since you fasting and you're praying, you're afflicting your soul. Now it's like direct connection. It's like straight Wi-Fi, no bad connection, no anything. It's just going direct to the Most High. No interruption, no service interruption. You don't got to hear the service provider coming through. No bad connection or anything like that. So that's why it's so important to practice fasting. And that made me get into another precept just to show that, right, and the importance of it is in the book of Daniel, because and it shows you how spiritual it is, that when the men of the Lord fast, like, great things happen, right? So this shows you clearly right here. If people can't get this, then I don't know what to say. But this Daniel's 10:1, and it reads, in the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, and the thing was true. But the time appointed was long, and he understood the thing, and had understanding of the vision. In those days I, Daniel, was mourning full 3 weeks. I ate no pleasant bread, and in my Bible here, where it says pleasant bread, means desirable food to be desired. So he didn't eat any food during this time, right? I ate no pleasurable bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. So he pretty much practiced what, a 21-day fast, a 3-week fast, man. Okay, so going on, because it's more to the point, right? It says, and in the 4th and 20th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of, it says, the Tigris, then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with the fine gold of Uphaz. And we know it's getting into Daniel seeing a vision of Yahawashi, right? His body also was like the beryl, his green garment, and his face as the appearance of lightning, because the scriptures say that wisdom causes a man's face to shine, right? And his eyes as lamps of fire, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, right? So only he saw the vision, but there was other men with Daniel. So why didn't they see the vision, right? For the men, a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. Therefore I was left alone and saw this great vision, and there remained no strength in me, for my comeliness was turned in me into corruption, and I retained no strength. So the men that were with Daniel, for one, they didn't get to see the vision because the vision wasn't meant for them. And 2, Daniel saw the vision too because he fasted for this period of time. So it was meant for this to happen in order for him to see the vision. The more spiritual you grow towards Yahawashi, the more can be revealed unto you. Like, I can always remember, Apostle Tahar saying, like, when he first came into the truth, he was doing a lot of fasting. And basically that pretty much opened him up to a lot. And that was something I practiced, brothers over here practiced kind of a lot, in the beginning when we first came into the truth. And, you can notice how much more closer you feel unto the Most High when you're fasting, when you're in your soul, because the word afflict means what? To strike. So you're striking down your flesh in order for your spirit to grow, and Daniel is the prime example of that, him fasting for that 21 that 21 day period, him fasting, him afflicting his soul in order for his spirit to be lifted up, for the Most High to show him them visions, because there were certain visions and certain things that the men of the Lord had to do in order to see visions, and for the Most High to reveal certain things unto them, and primarily it came through by way of fasting, man. So this is one of the most important days that we have, also for the Lord to have mercy upon us, for forgiveness and things like that, and to completely wipe our slate clean, as the turning of a new leaf, so to speak, man. Because every day, we have those slip-ups, we have those mishaps and things like that, and all the time we're not on our A game, just for the fact that Satan tries to come in and do his little numbers and hinders us up a little bit, but we continue to strive for that perfection within the Lord every single day. So another example, is of course Esdras, and this is just to reiterate and to drive the point home more, that when you fast, your spirit is able to receive more from the Most High. And I want to start off in this second Esdras. What I want to start off. Slack it 1 second. Second Esdras 5, and I'm gonna start at verse 12, and it says, matter of fact, let me start at verse 10, and it says, and shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and inconsistency and incontinency be multiplied on earth. One land also shall ask another, and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, no. And at the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. To show thee such tokens I have leave. And if thou wilt pray again and weep as now, and fast 7 days, right? And fast 7 days, thou shalt hear yet greater things. So what? Esdras had to fast for 7 days for him to hear greater things in which he already heard. Why? Because that clearing of the flesh, man, all of those impurities being removed far from the flesh, therefore your spirit is definitely uplifted, man. That's why, going to the beginning of things in the Most High, how the scriptures talk about what the angels in that first estate and things like that. Why was we able to be on such a high spiritual level to help YAHAWASHI? If we were those men, Lord willing, we are. If we were those men, in the beginning, in an angelic form, with YAHAWASHI, to build and create the worlds now as we know, because it was all spiritual. So the more spiritual you are, the more decalcified, in the flesh, the more decalcified our spirit, our pineal gland is, the more we able to vibrate on a higher frequency with the Most High and with the angels, man, with the spiritual world. That's why it's so important. That's why Esau knows the spirituality and the benefits of the pineal gland. That's why he try to put fluoride in the water. This and try to contaminate this food, all what to calcify our pineal gland, so we can't have that direct connection with Yahweh and his son YAHAWASHI, man. Esau knows all of these things. That's why he's constantly trying to set up these traps and these tricks to keep us from that direct connection, man. But it's nothing that he can do to ultimately stop us from having that connection with the Most High. And brothers are growing every day more and more, So just reading on this to finish out this point. Verse 13, it says, to show thee such tokens I have leave, and if thou wilt pray again and weep as now, and fast 7 days, thou shalt hear yet greater things. Then I waked, and a extreme fearfulness went through all my body, and my mind was troubled, so that it fainted. So the angel that was come to talk with me held me, comforted me, and set me up on my feet. So, him going through these things, well, for one, your spirit has to be ready for these things. And even though he fasted for this amount of time, the angel still had to come pick him up off of his feet, because it's just so much on the spirit and the physical body to take upon you, man. That's why when it comes to the end time, the Most High has to put his anger within us, to do what we're going to do unto the other nations, because just in the flesh alone, we can't withstand it. It's too much for us. So the Most High has to constantly put the spirit upon us, or have our spirit gravitate on a higher frequency to be able to receive and accept certain things. And within this current world, we need the atonement desperately. As we know, this means what? Basically the cleansing of our sins, atoning for our soul, and striking down our flesh for us to grow on that higher level, we need this day. You know, this is one of the best holy days that I love, because just know that we have another chance, and to hope that the Most High will grant us that forgiveness, you know, when this day of the year comes around. And we know that the grace of the Lord is not to be abused, you know. So this is that one absolute day, because, you know, I know I used to fast very often, not as much anymore. Now more so for health benefit reasons, you know. But, and as Apostle Bar mentioned in this video, that, you know, brothers should also practice what, intermittent fasting. That's another form of fasting, where, you know, Esau would typically say you fast for about, you know, 16 hours. I would typically listen until that. For one, you know, you're cleansing your liver, you know, which hold a lot of anger, a lot of emotion, you know. And, you know, during hardcore bondage times, you know, Esau would you know, make Jake drink, you know, to get those liver enzymes up, to get those toxins rolling within the body, so that you would have that anger and that fierceness. And I noticed, because I went on various fasts, you know, not just spiritual fasts, but also fasting in general for my health. And I noticed that at times, you know, when I went in excess amount of time, like fasting for over a month and things like that, I noticed my liver cleansing itself, but I couldn't get angry anymore. Like, it felt like you lost that fire, so to speak, not fire for the truth, but just fire as far as the anger that you can pour out, because your body just gets so calm from you cleansing yourself, you know. And that's what cleansing the liver does. It helps to cleanse out anger, negative emotions, things like that, so you're able to focus more on the spirit. Your kidneys, all right, cleansing out the kidneys is very, very important, because if you know anything about the kidneys is usually the last line of defense before somebody with real severe ailments, you know, winds up passing away. Like for somebody that has cancer, if their kidneys are not filtering, it's inevitable that they're going to die, period. The kidneys are the last line of defense before death, because once those go, it's completely a wrap. Once your kidneys are gone and things like that, it's completely a wrap, you know. You know, just cleansing out the heart, the arteries, and different things like that, you know, because so much plaque and things, you know, gets caught up with the arteries. So fasting helps you to cleanse out the body on all levels, And another thing that Apostle Gabar mentioned was the immune system, okay? And how he said it means, what he said it means that fast, but it was in service. Yeah, he said that immune system basically means like in service, because what is the main service of the body is to cleanse the body, you know. And that's what the immune system does, because the immune system, well, I like to call it the defense system, because it's in service to defend us. That's what the immune system does. And the body's immune system deals with the lymphatic system. A lot of people think it deals with the blood. No, it deals with the lymphatic system, because the blood always has to maintain a balanced pH of 7.35 and 7.34, right? Because if you don't maintain that balance, you get too high up on the pH scale, creates alkalosis. You could potentially lose your life. If your pH gets too low underneath, even just a few points underneath that, you can have a loss of life. For instance, a snake bite, the average snake bite is the poison, the venom of a snake between like 5 something pH and like in the high 6s in the pH, and people can die off of a snake bite. So imagine if your blood pH wasn't remaining that fine balance between 7.35 and 7.45, it would be a wrap, man. So the body's main immune system is the lymphatic system that fights all viruses, bacteria, diseases, cancers, AIDS, and all of that, you know. So when a person has like a lot of mucus, you spitting out phlegm, that's the immune system, the lymphatic system kicking up to help you expel all of that mucus from the body, you know. And I noticed, like, in me just waking up this morning, you know, since we've been fasting since last night, you know, I've been expelling a lot of mucus, and that all stems from the lymphatic system and the body's immune system kicking up, you know, to expel all of that. Because within the immune system, you have what, the lymph nodes, you have them in your neck, you have them within your armpits, you know, you have them in your face, you have them all throughout the body, your groin area, everywhere. The lymphatic system comprises of 3/4 of the fluid in our body, and the blood fluid is only 1/4. So it's very important to constantly cleanse the immune system, and within the lymph nodes, you have what is known as killer cells, NK cells, you have macrophages, so on and so forth, that when, you know, disease, inflammation, bacteria, and things enter into the body, sometimes you may notice a swelling in your lymph nodes or swelling here, and that's your body's lymphatic system trying to kick up to fight off those diseases, those ailments, and different things like that. You know, so it's very important in keeping the immune system as healthy as possible, and fasting periodically will help with that. You know, and I also wanted to touch on too. Matter of fact, let me pull out another scripture before I continue on further, just as far as the the benefits of fasting and things like that. Because and also too, as I mentioned, this is fasting in general is this the best thing for any brother that's going through any type of illnesses, ailments, infirmities. The number one best thing you can do is fast, even if it's not just a spiritual fast, even if it's during another time you intermittent fasting, or you're doing a juice fast, because they're different type of fast. But the fast we are on currently, is a spiritual fast, abstaining from all food and drink. So real quick, I wanted to go to it's Sirach 30:15, and it says, health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth. There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. Meaning what? The joy of the mind. Because the Lord needs able-bodied men, to be out there on the highways and byways. We know we're going to still go through it. He's going to constantly go through it. But ultimately, you want to keep things as sound as possible. And the more you fast, the more you cleanse the body, the more you have a sound mind, because what you're clearing information out of the body. And I'll speak on this, all from experience in the various fasts and things that I've went on, whether it's spiritual or just for health reasons. And you notice how once a lot of that inflammation is gone from the body, everything, your skin clears up, your head clears up, you feel more lightheaded, things like that. I literally feel at times like inflammation moving from the base of the skull up to the head, coming down out the nose, and it being expelled, things like that. And once you're releasing those things, it's harsh going through it at times, but overall you feel a lot better when your body is cleansing itself, man. The lungs begin to open up, and that's another thing. Your lungs open up supremely when you go on these fasts, as you expel more mucus from the chest. As we know, the word expectorate, when you look it up, expectorate means ex means out, and pect coming from the word pectoris or pectoral, from the pectoral muscles with your chest. So you literally meaning to spit. So you spitting out the mucus from out of the body, so that's very beneficial as well. You notice you begin to breathe a lot better, and everything within the body just functions a lot better. And there's various brothers in my camp as well that went on various fasts, and they relayed to me, the great benefits and the things that they've experienced while fasting. Another thing is the energy, your energy being increased. When the energy is increased, man, you feel like you like the energizer bunny, man. And we want to be energized, for what we got to do on a weekly basis, and for coming out there in the highways and byways. And we know when we're doing these lessons, we want to be vibrant, we want to have life, we want to have energy, because what this is this is the word of life. YAHAWASHI is the bread of life, and he gives us all of that energy, bread alone. Man shall not live off bread. We can literally live off of this word, but you can fast periodically here and there, and you could be very fine, because there's a lot of people out there also that just go on, that just literally just fast. They may just do liquid fast, and they live on things like that. Some people do fruit fast, and they live off of that, But more importantly, it's about this word that sustains us, And when you're going through the word, you may be reading, you getting in tune with it, you're doing lessons and things like that. If you may feel hungry, trust me, you're not going to feel that hunger anymore. When you're going through a lesson and you're going through precepts and scriptures and things like that, that hunger is going to subside, because while your mind is no longer focusing or dwelling on that. And and yeah, another that I want to get into too, that Apostle Gabar mentioned, the importance. It's important too how you enter into the fast, but it's more so important how you end the fast. How you end the fast means everything. Now, even though this is only one day, it's still important. But typically, the longer you fast, the longer you would take to actually transition to eating solid foods. Now, why is that? Because you could potentially harm yourself when you're just coming off of a fast like that, and you just go right to big meals and things like that. You messing up your whole digestive tract. You can mess up your esophagus. You can create acid reflux. You can be messing up your intestines, your colon, things like that. You can be causing heavy damage into yourself if you don't break the fast properly. That's the whole term, breaking the fast. Breakfast, breaking the fast is important how you do that. And Because a lot of times in the past, I've witnessed brothers, not the knocking. You can typically do whatever it is that you want to do, but I'm just explaining it from the best health standpoint in which I personally know of, and me practicing it myself, going through the ups and downs and potentially harming myself and things like that as well. So it's experience based, and you can look it up for yourself too, all the information, just with a simple Google search. And yeah, like I said, I noticed brothers in the past, pretty much can't wait to eat, as soon as you come off of the fast. You don't want to have something that's sitting there waiting, just just ready to devour and gobble something because you're so hungry. Now you want to end the fast gracefully, still in the spirit, not just ready to scarf something down, because of the fact that you can potentially harm yourself. And still, even though when you come to the last few hours of the fast, you still don't want to just have food on your mind. You want to keep it spiritual as much as possible. So don't just sit there and just wait to, dig in, as soon as after the fast, and you want to still keep it spiritual and move things along accordingly. So the best thing, which Apostle Gabar mentioned, would be to eat some fruit. Now, either you can, I typically do liquids first, but you can do fruit first as well. That's perfectly fine because it's high water content, the watermelons and things like that. I typically would with like some fresh fruit juice or some water, or you could do water with some limes. Make sure they seeded, or key limes and things like that. Fresh to hydrate the body. You can have some teas, some herbal teas and things like that. To continue to cleanse the process, to get things going. Some burdock, some sarsaparilla. Different things like that, things like that. Some chamomile tea, make sure it's chamomile tea, elderberry tea, things like that to end the fast with. And then fruits, then the fruits. Okay, so as Pastor Gabar mentioned, some watermelon, it should be seeded, it should be seeded if you can, or some general melons as well, because those the high water content fruits, are the best to come off a fast with if you're going to eat any fruit, that is. So it always be the high water content fruits, and melons should always be eaten separately from any other fruits because of they have a faster rate of digestion. And when you mixing the wrong fruits together, you can slow up digestion. It can cause fermentation within the gut, and fermentation within the gut can create bacteria, viruses, worms, and things like that. So you want to make sure that you're ending it the correct way. And if you're going to have the fruit, the melons would either it's fresh watermelon, or just cantaloupe, or just regular melon. Those will be some best things to end the fast with. And then you will have that periodically, not too much, but just enough that you're satiated. Then after that, being that it's only a 1-day fast, after that, for say lunchtime or something like that, you would typically want to have a salad, a nice green salad, because you want to ease your way and ease the body back into eating. You don't want to just, like I said, you don't want to just scarf something down, and then you wondering why your stomach is feeling upset or you feeling messed up. It's because you ended the fast the wrong way. So ending the fast the correct way is very beneficial for the health and for your body overall. So like I said, having the fresh some water, herbal teas, or some fresh fruits as soon as you end the fast around lunchtime or whatever, or the next meal after that. But want to have a nice green salad or something like that. Then afterwards, you could proceed to your bigger meal, because you want to give the body's digestive system time to kick back in, and to regulate things the correct way after you just coming off of this fast. It's a lot of other benefits and things that I could get into off the benefits of fasting, but I think I pretty much hit the point. Is there anything else important that I may have left out? I'm trying to think real quick. Yeah, just overall cleansing of the body, and you will notice that when you actually in the fast too, you'll notice that your urine is very dark. Now, why is that? That ties back to the lymphatic system only drains out through a number of different places. You get when you sweat, and, all of that, that salt and all of that, that's all coming from the lymphatic system. When you urinate and it's dark like that, that's all coming from the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system has to drain through the kidneys. So the kidneys are filtering out all of that toxic waste. That's why the urine is so dark. Typically, the doctor would want to say that's a urinary tract infection, something like that. But it's not. That's just the lymphatic system gathering up all of the waste from all of the body systems. Like when you wake up in the morning, Shalawam, brother. When you wake up in the morning and the first thing you have to do is urinate, that's because between the hours of like 2:30 to like 4 a.m. or like 2 to 3 a.m., the kidneys are gathering all of the waste from the body to be expelled first thing in the morning. So your body is acting it out. And you will notice, you don't have to do this, but I'm just letting brothers know this as a tip. You can notice that your kidneys are filtering, and that if your lymphatic system is filtering, if whenever you go to urinate and it's very dark and you let it go into a glass bottle, you let it sit there, and when you look at it, you should see some white sediment at the bottom and it looking like snowflakes. That lets you know that your lymphatic system is cleansing itself and it came out through the kidneys. So that's one great way to know how well your kidneys are doing and how well your lymphatic system is doing. Because from fasts that I've done in the past, and one I did like a 2-day fast before, not eating and not drinking anything, and once I urinated throughout the jar, I noticed like the whole bottom of the jar, like about this much, it was all white and it was all thick. So that shows me that something is good is happening, because my body is releasing all of that toxic waste. And releasing all of that toxic waste from the body, the closer our spirits vibrate with the Most High Yahawah and the Son YAHAWASHI. So the benefits of fasting is just numerous, man. And like I said, the one great thing you'll notice too is periodically fasting, your skin clears up so much, man. And people be like, oh, you're glowing, you know what I'm saying? And you may not recognize it, but other people recognize it. That's due all to the fasting, man. So here we are within this Day of Atonement. We on the spiritual fast, no eating and no drinking. But there's various forms of fasting. So even after this Day of Atonement, you still may choose to fast, do a spiritual fast here and there. Shalawam, YAHAWASHI, so even after this fast, you may still want to practice spiritual fast periodically, to help your spirit out, to help your cleansing and things like that. And also you can practice, as Pastor Gabar mentioned, intermittent fasting. Like I say, Esau typically says between about 16 hours or so, but you can really do at least 12 to 16 hours is pretty good for intermittent fasting. That way you can get some cleansing going on. You can have a fruit fast, what some people call it, where it's just eating fruits. That really helps to cleanse the body. You can do that for a day or two, or for a weekend, or however long you choose, and to take some herbs with that really helps boost fasting and things like that, which is very good also to cleansing the body and things like that. So it's various forms of fasting, but this fast right here, the Day of Atonement fast, any spiritual fast of no eating and no drinking, this trumps all fasting. Because with this with dry fasting, spiritual fast, you achieve so much more than any other fast. Now if we were to sit there and to do a like a juice fast or a fruit feast or something like that, it would take 3 days of a juice fast just to accomplish what we accomplished in the spiritual fast with 1 day. So this 1 day of spiritual fasting, of abstaining from all food and drink, is greater or just as great as a person that did a 3-day food fast, a 3-day juice cleanse, because this is the highest form of fasting. And that's why, going back to Matthew's, as we brought out, Matthew's the 4th chapter, and YAHAWASHI, him fasting for that 40 days and 40 nights. So if you times that, so if one spiritual day of fasting equates to 3 days of of juice fasting or something like that, you times that 40, YAHAWASHI did 40 days, so 40 times 3. So a person could juice fast or something like that for 120 days, which is what 4 months. And YAHAWASHI just fasting for abstaining from foods and solid and liquids for 40 days was equal to somebody doing that for 120 days. So we see how much more greater that the spiritual fast is, and us having more of that direct connection of us cleansing the impurities of our bodies to get closer to YAHAWASHI. So with that, I just hope this segment was edifying, to brothers out there to know the importance of the Day of Atonement, of just fasting, the benefits of fasting in general. And definitely, even if you can, you may not be too big on health, we should be within the truth, but even if you can do a fast periodically, a juice fast, or any type of cleanse, anything to help out your body, to help us serve the Lord much better, and for us to continue to be stronger soldiers for YAHAWASHI. So with that, once again, I hope the segment was edifying. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakwadash, number one to the apostle Elder GREATMILLSTONE, and Shalawam to the leg out there doing this work of faith and labor love and true sincerity. Shalawam to the brothers on comment board, but they're gonna have to spin this back, and so I'm gonna end it. But Shalawam.